Welcome back. Chipping away at the wood pile today. 4-pound axe. Remember me talking about using 3 axes in my rotation? Right now, just sticking with the 4-pound axe. So far, she's been working pretty good. Left these logs out for a few days, just laying here, letting some of the moisture get drawn out of them, and some of them are beginning to check, and they are so much easier to split now. It's ridiculous. There she goes. See that? That's all with the 4-pounder. So what I did was, the bevel on this axe was only about, I don't know, maybe 3/8. So what I did was I filed down the cheeks of the bevel and just brought it back. So rather than being so blunt, it's now a lot more narrow of a bevel. And it is working great for all my needs for splitting this wood. So if you remember, I was using the 3-pound axe to grab the wood, but with this narrower profile, it sinks into the wood further, which actually lets me grab pieces of wood. But it still has the thickness that I desire for splitting. And yeah, it's only 4 pounds instead of swinging the 8-pound maul, so a lot nicer. Like, there was one round of wood, I probably hit it 100 times with the maul, could not get it to split. Let that log sit out for a few days, came back, was able to bust it up. So much easier. So, learning experience, right? Go. I had some people wondering why I don't just use a chopping block when I'm splitting wood, because when you split on the ground, like this soft ground, you can see when I hit this log, the ground's pretty soft and it absorbs some of the impact. See how it kind of bounces after I hit it? The reason why I don't really like to use a splitting block, though, or a chopping block, is because I lose a lot of my force from the axe, because it brings the top of the log up a lot higher. When it's on the ground, I can swing all the way through to the top of this log, but when I put it on a splitting block, it brings it up higher, so I lose a lot of my impact and the force from my swing. Like, it's such a big difference, it's insane. Ugh. I get like nothing. But when it's on the ground, I can swing through a lot further and create a lot more impact. So that's why I opt for splitting on the ground versus a chopping block. You ever feel like you have too much on the go? I keep splitting wood, and every time I look, it just seems like more wood is appearing. I'm curious to see how that axe does in some dry wood. We dropped this tree down. I already got it de-limbed and figured out where I'm beginning to cut the wood at the top there. Some of it was rotten, but so now I just got to get it all bucked up. So maybe I'll run the saw for a bit. This is actually a pretty good sized tree. It's over 2 feet on the stump. Should end up being a decent amount of wood. It'll at least be a face cord of wood. We'll load up a few of these, take them over to the wood pile, and see how that axe works on them. A little interesting situation over here. Got a hole going under the cabin. And earlier today, when I was in there making some tea, I thought I heard something rummaging around in that back corner, and I shone my flashlight under my bed. Nothing there, but I think that it was coming out of here. So I put a couple of pine cones down there just as a marker to see if they moved at all, and well, they're no longer down there, so we definitely got something living under the cabin. I'll have to keep an eye out and see what it is. If it's a fur-bearing animal, I won't be able to trap it or kill it, but if it's a pest or a varmint, then I can get rid of it. Don't like animals living in the cabin. Alright, let's grab a few of those logs and get this splitting. Decent sized logs for sure. Gonna have to make a few trips to get all these logs over to the wood pile. Can only fit a few rounds in the tub at a time. This is probably silly of me to do, because once I begin splitting these dry rounds, it might make me rethink my strategy of splitting all those other rounds while they're still so green. Well, anyways, dead spruce, 4-pound axe. I wonder if we can pull one of these out of here with it. Oh yeah. Alright. See how she does. Oh my goodness. So much easier, hey? Must have a knot there. Oh no. Wow. That is so much easier. Jeez. Yeah. Well, the axe is great. This wood is great. So now I have to decide whether or not to keep splitting all this green wood. Or I could stack it up, probably leave it until the fall, and then split it, and then restack it. See, I don't want to restack wood though. Also, if I split it now, it'll be for sure guaranteed ready to burn in 2 years. I just wanted to get this stuff out of the way pretty quick so I could follow this leaning tree. It's leaning over the shed. I didn't think it was, but I do believe now that it is. Oh, there she goes. Yeah. She's definitely more difficult to split than the dry wood. But it'll be nice to get it split. And stacking up rounds is such a pain. It doesn't stack nearly as nicely as split wood. And I guess for this leaning tree I can just fall it on top of here and just have more rounds to deal with. Plus if I keep going I'll be done before I know it, so I'll keep splitting away. Well, that's what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the day. Splitting wood. Gotta get through that stuff. Gotta keep up with it. Gotta stay on top of it. Alright, well, for you guys, I'm going to set you up right here, watching over my little animal hole, and hopefully I can figure out what's living underneath the cabin. Alright, until next time, God bless and stay wild.